I'd like to introduce my panelists today. We have an esteemed panelist, a good cross-section from the investment side, development side, and operator side, the hotel operator side. So I'd like to welcome onto the stage Mr. Ayman Ezzedine, Director, Business Development, Radisson Hotel Group. You can give him a round of applause. Mr. Naif Al-Mahdi, Chief Business Officer, the Tourism Development Fund for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ali Kassina, Chief Development Officer, the Lux Collection. And Samar Sabra, Chief of Assets, Jebel Omar Development Company. Welcome to the stage, gentlemen, and great to have you here. So please take a seat. And do you want to just check, hopefully the mics are on. If not, I can pass this one across. So you heard from all the facts and figures. Hopefully I'll do a test at the end. Hopefully everyone remembered all those key numbers that I mentioned. You can see it's a very interesting time and a very exciting time. And we've seen huge growth even over the last 2 years in foreign direct investment, doubling from 2021 to 2023. So the proof is there, the robustness is there, and you know the next number of years are very exciting. So just to kind of set the scene at the moment, Mr. Naif, from your point of view, what kind of levels have you seen maybe over the last number of years, in the last couple of years in particular, around foreign direct investment? Are you getting many inquiries, or is it still very much regional investment into the kingdom or local investment? Could you give us a bit of what's happening on the ground with TDF at the moment?
Sure. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the organizer for having us here. Thank you for the audience for coming and trusting our views. Indeed, foreign FDIs are interested with Saudi. We work with lots, not only in GCC. Also, we work with some with Turk. We have talks, serious talk with the Chinese, Thais, Americans. So there is a big interest of Saudi due to the clear vision and direction within Saudi. As a case study, I think we have a great example that we are doing with the Turk, represented by FTG Development. FTG came to Saudi maybe 2 years ago, looking for development in Saudi. We went with them around the Saudi coast, east and west, and we showed them different kind of lands until they pick a land in King Abdullah Economic City, Cake. Then we arranged with the landlord, the Economic City, to be a partner in a project with TDF and FTG Development to build the first all-inclusive resort in Saudi. We went through lots of governmental financing process that TDF plays a great role to solve it. And now we are having 550 plus keys will be open in next March, inshallah.
Very good.
As the first all-inclusive development in Saudi. And this is a great example. Within 2 years or 2 years and a half, we'll have this huge development.
Very interesting. And from TDF's point of view, obviously you're very focused on supporting the growth of new hospitality developments, especially in the leisure space across the kingdom. What's your ideal type of foreign investor that you're looking to partner with? Are you open to developers, operators? Who are the kind of main types of investors you're looking to speak to?
To be honest, I think all operators are interested to come to Saudi. There is no issue with operators. All of them present and happy to work here. I think what we need is more developers to come to build with their expertise. Hotel management also, we need someone who is expert in hotel management to add a lot to the products here or the offering in Saudi. I think
and in terms of key locations, you mentioned King Abdullah Economic City, That's a really upcoming leisure destination. We know over the next number of years, a lot of exciting plans. But is there any other locations in the kingdom you think might be attractive to foreign investors?
I think national tourism strategy has defined the main destination within Saudi Arabia. Riyadh, Jeddah is a tier 1 destination in Saudi. Mecca and Medina is the religion's destination. And we have Asir, Hail, Ula, our other destination. Red Sea coast is one of the beautiful coasts in the region, and I think in the world. It has a very long season also. You can't swim in the Red Sea in the winter. You cannot do this anywhere. So I think this is here is the focus.
Okay, that's great. So if any developers or investors are looking to maybe enter in tier 1 cities like Riyadh or Jeddah, or expand into distinct markets like the holy cities, which we'll come to in a few moments, and in the emerging tourism destinations, I think there's a kaleidoscope of opportunities there, which is probably the key message. It's not just urban projects, but it's up and coming rural destinations and a distinct market in the holy cities too. So, Naif, thanks for your insights on that. Appreciate it. Samir, just to pick up that point on the holy cities, very, very unique tourism markets, very unique to the kingdom, and expected to grow enormously over the next number of years with the vision and the targets that we have to increase pilgrim tourism. What type of discussions are you having with investors from overseas and developers, and where do you see them going over the next number of years?
Look, as Naif has said, Mecca and the holy cities, it's an attraction by itself to different kind of investors, but also there are special investors who are interested in terms of special type of hospitality and special types of demand that is catering for Hajj and Umrah and pilgrimage. Now today in Mecca we see that there's a lot of big developments, master developments, and these master developments also they need investors, they need developers in order to be able to come. Now the dynamics of Mecca is different from other cities, so they need to understand mainly what kind of challenges they will have, what kind of demand they are catering of, and what type of seasonality they are facing in terms for their investments. And definitely for any investor that want to come, he needs to check the viability and the financial viability of every project he will do. So what will be his return versus the other cities that will be, versus the other project that will have, for example, in Riyadh or in Jeddah. So this is very important in order to focus upon. But luckily also in Mecca now you have the Royal Commission, which is a very specialized body that has been established in order to attract, to enhance the hospitality segment in Mecca itself. So there's a lot of, I think, opportunities that are present there on the holy cities.
Very good. Just even from Collier's point of view, I remember over the last number of years we've had various different inquiries and discussions with developers looking into access to holy cities. Obviously from key source markets that come to travel to the holy cities every single year. So in terms of, is there any kind of investment products or investment developments that you think might be particularly attractive to certain source markets?
I think the main segment that will be attractive is the hospitality, because it is a hospitality-driven market. Now, in addition to the hospitality, we are seeing that there's a lot of addition for residencies and for branded residencies in order for people. And this will be, I think, paving the road with, now everybody is looking for the foreign ownership law that will be coming. So I think a lot of the investors, they are really waiting for this, and they are trying to build their product in order to cater for future potential sales of these residencies to other kind of investors that will be that want to own property in Mecca.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good point. The kind of how the regulation has really progressed over the last number of years to react to the growing trend to increase foreign direct investment, not just on a large level from a company level, but also from an individual level, where around the world in some markets international investment has been huge in real estate markets. So that idea of owning a branded residential property or a hotel condo in Mecca or Medina, I'm sure would be very complimentary, and it would get a lot of interest from potential investors all over the world. So that's very interesting, and maybe that's a space that could be developed into the future. Just to segment, so in terms of promoting FDI in the kingdom, Ali, your company is looking to expand into the kingdom over the next number of years and across the Gulf region too. Obviously, you've worked across different markets globally too. Could you give any examples or initiatives you think that maybe are good case studies and that could be, key points for us to consider as case studies in this region?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for the invitation. I spent 5 years here in Saudi, so I feel at home. It's fantastic to be back. So yeah, look, the Lux Collective is mainly an Indian Ocean-based hospitality company. We have 17 properties globally, and we're looking to expand in Africa, Middle East, and Europe. So I'm pretty much looking at all these different markets, these different countries, and seeing opportunities. So the way I would respond to your question is, what can the government do in terms of enhancing, bringing FDI in the country? Saudi is doing a phenomenal job in this currently. Of course, it can always be improved, but it's witnessing by, for example, the different conferences around the world. The Ministry of Investment is always very active and it's doing a great job in promoting the kingdom. What I'd say is, when we look at where to go and what countries are ripe for us or they're ready for us, we look at the monetary policies of the country, the ability to bring money in and out of the country. We looked at accessibility, so how is the situation in terms of airports, access, infrastructure, do you have the basics, are the basics there in place for us to even consider an opportunity? And then in terms of private developers and partners, we look at developers that have done their homework. Is the site have been secured? Have they done a feasibility study? So there's various, whether it's government or private sector, there's various things that we need to tick the box before we looked at entering into a market.
Very good. So, the infrastructure development, as you know very well from living here and working here as well, there's been enormous growth over the last number of years, investment into the public infrastructure system, right around the kingdom, from trains, from the airports, and we see it firsthand every time we make a new visit into the kingdom. So hopefully, that will continue, and it will bring even more visitation into the country and attract even more operators and investors alongside you as well. So that's very positive and good to hear. Target sources of capital. I think when we're looking at targeting sources of capital, new sources of capital come into the country, I think that's very important. And if we look at FDIs at the moment, again, a lot of it is in the manufacturing, logistics space, and from certain distinct countries, in particular from the United States. But over the next number of years, and with the efforts being made by across majority of the Gulf countries to attract new capital from new markets, I think that's an important discussion to have as well, especially from Asian markets. So in terms of target sources of capital, Eamon, you're working with a lot of development partners at the moment right across the Middle East. What kind of practical initiatives can be done to target, say, Asian investment into the Middle East and into Saudi in particular? I know Radisson have a good exposure to that market.
Hello, James. Hello, James. Hi, everybody. Saudi right now, what Saudi has done in the what Saudi has done in the last 5 years has been amazing. And with Vision 2030, the strategy put in place, it's been clear and concise. So that's pretty much a great selling point on its own. So we have Asian owners, Asian investors coming to us for our assistance because we've worked with them there. So we can open doors, we recommend them to meet the right people, the right governmental institutions, and some banking. Then we help partner with them on a sense where what's the right product, high-end, luxury, mid-scale. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it, as Olivia was saying. So there's the feasibility, the marketing, and then again, what their needs. Each market has a different way of looking at things. So from the Asian side, Asian investors, we see a lot of interest in high-end luxury trophy assets, which is a lot in the Saudi going on. Now, if you look at the European side, you know, Radisson, we started off as a Scandinavian country, so our European roots are strong. We're noticing we're finding more mature investors who are looking for budget, mid-scale, economy investments, looking more for ROIs than for that trophy asset. So that's...
Very good. So if you were advising, if you had a Chinese investor looking to come into the market, and there is a lot assessing, a lot of Chinese investors are making trips here, in particular providing delegations. As consultants, we're working with many of them, providing that kind of market research as they get to know the market, and it will take time. But if you're advising, say, a Chinese client who's looking to invest into the kingdom, into the hospitality market here, where would you advise them to look at for luxury hotels? What areas?
I mean, the luxury hotels right now, everybody has them in Riyadh, the Red Sea, Jeddah. I even went to Abha. You know, it's not a luxury market yet, but that old saying, if you build it, they will come. You know, there's a lot of development infrastructure coming into Abha, and the mid-scale hotels make the most sense right now. But you also need to diversify. There will be the others. On the Asian side right now, they're mostly coming to Riyadh. They are coming to Red Sea. They want the stuff that they're hearing on the news. So places like Abha, they haven't heard of. So that we need to educate them a little bit more. And then Al-Ula, of course, that's world famous now. So the stuff that they heard about, they're very interested in. So we have to show them Abha, Taif, Al-Ahsa, the other thing, because there is a growing demand for luxury on a limited scale. One thing we've started as well on our Radisson hotels, I think 5 of our hotels right now have Chinese speakers as a part of their staff.
Very interesting.
So they're starting to accept the guests, they're coming, they're helping, and this also growing the interest is some of the, you know, Asian culture could be very different than our culture here in the Middle East. So to help them with that, when they come, they see a brand that they know from the other, from their area, it gives them a sort of comfort, and then the trust and the bond starts from there.
Very good. Very interesting. So we hope you sign a number of hotel deals now over the next number of years in the luxury segment in the kingdom. So sticking with yourself, Eamon, I mean, like Radisson, you've had huge growth over the last number of years in the Middle East and Africa. Can you kind of talk about your journey, obviously, as you've evolved over the years, you know, as a European company initially, obviously some mergers and et cetera, to grow your footprint. But what has Radisson's journey been in the kingdom since you started here, and how you've invested in the market as an operator? Could you give us a bit about that?
Yes, I mean, Radisson came to the Middle East, the region, over 40 years ago to Kuwait. And now in Saudi, the kingdom, 2002, we entered with 3 properties. It was a little bit of a slow start. It was harder to do business back then. We didn't have people like you helping us. So on that sense, we grew, I think, 10 hotels in the first 10 years, which was slow. Right now, we stand 30 open hotels and 20 under development. And our goal by 2030 to keep in line with the vision and strategy of the country, and our commitment to it, is to have 100 hotels between open and under development. So that's one. We've already opened our office here. We have a strong regional team in Riyadh, and it's growing. Like I said, training initiatives such as for GMs, cross exposure in other countries. You know, Dubai is very well established, and the culture is very similar. So we see a lot of connection, and we build on that to bring them back, and the experience. Like I said, the Chinese programs and another one. So it's just now to identify and looking at tier 2, tier 3 cities, as well as, of course, tier 1 and Mecca and Medina.
Very good. Very interesting. Ali, your journey with your company, you're on a new journey into the kingdom. Could you tell us about your plans to develop over the next number of years and the kind of target segments you're looking at?
Yeah. So very different from Radisson. We're a boutique firm. We were born in 1987 in Mauritius and expanded regionally within the Indian Ocean. We have a strong presence there. But up until now, we've been just limited to that region. Now we're expanding into Africa, the Middle East. When I had my first board I joined recently, so 9 months ago. When I had my first board meeting, they asked me, what is the strategy going forward? I said, absolutely Middle East and absolutely Saudi. So we were putting the numbers down in terms of okay, how many hotels. He said, 1 hotel in Saudi. I said, minimum 3, right? Just in terms of people don't understand still, don't appreciate yet the diversity, the beauty, and the opportunities that lie in the kingdom. We are a hyper luxury brand with luxe, but we also have upper upscale brand and luxury brand. So there's opportunities for each segment of the market in different, also on different kind of typologies and topographies of landscape, whether it's on the Red Sea or in the desert or in the mountains. So there's so many opportunities that I managed to squeeze in 3 minimum hotels on my pipeline.
Very good. And in terms of like entry strategy, like a first flag, are you open-minded to have a more of an urban hotel with one of your appropriate brands, or would you like to enter into the resort market, which is maybe your kind of historic strength?
We're mainly known for beach resorts. We're very strong in that. We are also doing urban projects as well in China, where we have a lot of partners and a strong presence. But I'd say both, I guess, again. But to start off with, definitely beach resort. The Red Sea is incredible. I spent, again, 5 years working on Red Sea projects, so I'm a big fan of that area.
Very good. So we hope to come back in a couple of years' time, and you'll have a flag in the Red Sea. That's the plan. Now, if it's a kind of interesting discussion where we have an operator that's here for many years, and then we have an operator that's really interested to come in and develop and be part of the journey on the road to Vision 2030. For any delegates that are listening here today, maybe there's some developers in the room or investors and operators here. Like, what type of kind of practical advice would you have for those that are starting their investment or development or operating journey that are looking to come into the kingdom?
Thank you. First of all, I think Saudi now has a clear vision, and tourism play a great part of that vision. And under the vision, we have the national strategy, the national tourism strategy, which give you clear direction. What is the gap? What is the demand will be? What we're gonna build? What is the new clusters? So, and the target is also clear before that. In the vision, there is a clear target that we need to reach 150 million visit by 2030. It was 100 million. We reached it last year. Then the number has been raised. There is a focus not only for domestic visits, also for international visits, visiting Saudi Arabia. So all the data, all the information is available, updated in a quarterly basis. This will help any investor to make an investment decision. Also, in TDF, we do have a lot of products. We do finance, we do co-ownership, especially with the international developer or investor coming to Saudi. We do guarantee for the SMEs with cooperation with Saudi banks. A lot of solutions we do. We have a great team of real estate, hospitality, and finance advisors that are here to help you. So if you secure the land, if you secure the finance, and if you secure the demand, what else left? So the picture is clear, and we will not leave you once you complete the project. Also, we have a partnership with our colleague in Saudi Tourism Authority, where they will play a great role to promote your hotel or your development. So they will secure for you number of, your occupancy rate to be at the maximum by great promotion all over around the world.
It's very interesting. Yeah, I suppose it's a key message that the support is there. If anyone is interested in analysing any products or having those discussions around new investments, the amount of work being done on the side of supports from finance, marketing, and with the operators here as well. New operators are coming to the market who will get the same support, but existing operators who have that operational support to de-risk any investment. I think the path has been well trodden over the last number of years by many different actors, and all the dots are being placed together, and the great work of Invest Saudi as well is helping in all that. And by providing more data, like we've seen in the data that's available in the market now in terms of operational data, it's second to none in terms of occupancies rates, the promotional information in particular. We've seen worldwide campaigns happen when we turn on the TV, even if we're traveling abroad. So all that is coming together to make it a very strong investment climate, we hope, and that will grow over the next number of years. So thanks for that, Naif. Samar, just in terms of, do you see any challenges for investors entering into the region, and maybe any tips on how to manage those?
I believe the challenges that are here are in any country. So any investor that wants to enter in any country, he needs to look first about the legal system, how the legal system it help him, how he can register his company, how he can secure the rights of his company for the future. And I believe what happened in Saudi is that there have been a tremendous change in terms of going to the e-government, in terms of having the experience of the investor very, very soft, very practical. I think with bodies like TDF or the Ministry of Investment also, who are helping the investor in order to pave the road for him, help him in different decisions that he will make, the registration process, the legal, in addition also to helping him in order to coordinate with local partnership, how to have local partnership. And I believe this is a very important point, because anybody coming to a different country, the best thing to do is to have local partnership with Saudi's entities, with other entities that have been in the market for a long time. This will help them in terms of cutting the journey, understanding the market very well. And this also will be a key point in order for the development or for entering the market. And I believe here you have a lot of local players in the market that have been, for example, if you take the hospitality, you have a very good local players that have been in the hospitality for a long time, in terms of developers, in terms of investors also. And they are looking in order to join hands with other investors for reaching the goals of the 2030 vision. So I think there's always challenges. There will be always challenges for any international investor, but FDI is growing in a steady base, and the government is taking the right steps in order to make it easier for the investor to move along.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting point around partnerships, definitely. When it comes to development, we've seen a lot of GCC entities who've maybe crossed borders in the region, that they've entered into new regional markets through JVs, and it's been successful, especially on the development side. So I think, yeah, partnerships are one, and I recall an international partnership. We've seen Brookfield, international real estate investor, enter the UAE market a number of years ago through joint venture partnerships as well. So international capital, again, especially in institutional grade real estate capital, is always on the lookout for good joint ventures, good local partners. And as Samir mentioned, there's hotel owning companies that have been around in the kingdom for decades, and a lot of large international brands that have been here, and new brands looking to come into the market with excellent track record as well. So that's a very interesting point on partnerships for those looking to enter into the market. Okay, very interesting. Ollie, it's something that you're very passionate about. When we discussed offline, we know that investors are now a lot more socially conscious. They're looking, they have targets around carbon footprint, how they integrate their staff and their staff well-being. So, again, as a new player coming into the market, can you tell us a bit about your own ESG program and how you hope to bring it to the kingdom?
Yeah, no, thanks for the question. It's a topic that we're very passionate about. We've been implementing ESG reporting for many, many years at the Lux Collective. Obviously, we work in eco-sensitive environments like the Maldives and Mauritius, so we have even more responsibility to undertake ESG practices more diligently than, let's say, in other parts of the world. What is interesting is that Saudi Arabia is at the forefront of this. For many, at least with the developers that I've been talking to, it's at the centerpiece of their attention. How you monitor is the question, right? So we work with different NGOs, international organizations like the Global Reporting Initiative, the Greenhouse Gas Protocol. So we're adhere to all these different NGOs and international associations, and we produce ESG reports on a regular basis, which are then monitored by these international associations. I think what is important to understand is that we're seeing it already happening. In the future, global accounting practices like the IFRS will take into account sustainability measures as part of the accountancy standards. So by already starting to report these, being part of the stakeholders, getting involved with the stakeholders at an early stage will help companies as well in the future, and Saudi companies in particular, be at the avant-garde.
Thanks, Ollie. Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, what he's saying is so true, and the Lux, their group, it's a very important part of their strategy from the beginning for other reasons. But even if you look at it, and one of the main reasons most hotel operators are investing in it right now, it's good business. It's good for the ROI. If you design the project taking consideration the environmental factors, you use less energy. So ESG is very important, and it's just the only difficult part that we're finding, and this is where we need more education for the investors, is that you have to invest at the beginning and you will get the payback. And this is where the problem is right now. Some people are just still thinking very short time.
Yeah, to retrospectively fit a hotel, it does have CapEx implications, as we all know as well. So it can be difficult to retrospectively do it. It's not impossible, but it does come up with CapEx, which some owners aren't willing to spend, as we know. Very interesting. I think, on the ESG side, we see more and more around the world, investors do have their targets. It's something they feel passionate about, have their social programs, as do the operators, and as do the government here in the Kingdom as well, and the large master developers. In particular, if we look at the Red Sea project, which we mentioned, they're doing phenomenal work when it comes to the environment in particular, and making sure that the developments there are in fitting with the natural environment and safeguarding the natural environment. So I think in the Kingdom, those opportunities for investors are there. And I think it's a 360-degree view now from both investors, developers, master developers, and the government all working together for one goal. So that's great to see. So that nearly comes to the end. If anyone has any questions, we just have a couple of minutes. If anyone has any questions, we can bring a mic across. There's someone at the back there.
Thank you so much, James and the panelists. Thank you so much. It's very, very informative for us. Actually, this is my second day, and over the yesterday and today, there's a lot of input that we're getting. My question to Mr. Naif, President TDF. Mr. Samir mentioned earlier there's a lot of challenges that comes to investors when they come and trying to access the market. And now with the vision of South 2030, to what extent TDF is able to grant access to potential investors? Like, what is the major impacts or changes that has been done in the last 10 to 5 years for investors to come and invest in Saudi? Thank you.
Welcome. Name it. Anything. No, okay. Look, in today, to build, for example, again, accommodation. You need access to municipality, access to the authority if the region has an authority, access to Ministry of Tourism. All of these access are available within TDF. We help you and we advise you on all of this information. We go with you. If there is any exception needed, we write this also for you. We help you in having lands, of course, in governmental land transferred to the private sector. We do a lot of effort for the investor to partner with the municipalities, companies. So just name it.
Very good. Thanks for the question. I think, yeah, even to add to tonight's comments as well, I suppose if we look at, you mentioned like a 5-year time horizon in your question too, and I think if you look at, how the visa programs have advanced over the last 5 years in terms of international visitation, how it's opened up, visa on arrival, different visa schemes, which has opened up air travel in particular, and the growing conference and event scene like we're all seeing here today. So there's greater visitation from international audience for business and leisure. And we're also seeing that in terms of investment, and given that there's such very clear targets now on foreign investment, I think there's greater, more openness, and more resources are being put into providing access to more deals. So hopefully over the next 5 years we'll see even more and more investment coming through. That's our time. Thanks very much for your... do we have one more? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, my name is Lloyd D'Souza. I work for a British firm, Economic Policy and Impact Assessment. Have you seen, the question is to TDF, have you seen PPP projects, especially in this sector, either public-private partnerships or small-scale PPP in second-tier, third-tier cities? Has there been anything around that?
I assume there is, but nothing in my mind now. But again, if you see the BBB is, with the mega project within Saudi, if you go to PIF project, I'm sure that you will find something like that. But nothing, unfortunately, in my mind now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on the PPP side. There is, I suppose, certain master plans and master developers that will be releasing tenders for land over the next while, and as part of their development they want involvement from the private sector and international. So it probably will happen a lot more over the next number of years, because there is, these key targets for both the private sector in the kingdom and for FDIs like your own company to come into the market. So, we have seen a lot of PPPs or kind of BOT side developments, especially in the holy cities, where land is a bit more difficult to attain, and certain individual land bank owners or certain entities have released land on this type of basis, on a PPP or some type of BOT. So I think, it depends on what the tenure will be for maybe some of the new master developments coming on the line. But I do foresee these types of structures being offered more in the market over the next number of years, I would say. I think that is our last question. Thanks for that. I really appreciate it. Could you give a round of applause to our panelists? And we look forward to meeting you.